Now, as we work in here, I just set up the scene, I got my project set and so forth. And now I want to work with this as a scale setup with the grid units, helping me measure distance in feet. And when I do that, I'd like to remind you that we've got this grid laid out here, for instance, the top view, with 1 foot by 1 foot scale settings. And as we go forward here, what's important is I kind of make this work for me relative to the total area of the landscape that I'm planning this, well, gardens, xeriscaping focus. As I do this here, we'll keep it pretty simple. We're not going to do model stuff as far as details like for the greenhouse and for the shed. My working storage shed outside also. We'll keep it simple. Just use primitives. And as we take a look here, as a reminder, if you hit your Shift F here, working with this on a PC, it should frame a select object in all 4 views. And of course we can work out to our perspective views, which I use this over here when I teach. And of course here side by side, which I do use a lot, especially for animation. But I want to assign the grid units, grid options. I'll do that globally by working to our windows. Working to our modified display grid. Look at that right there. There we go. Display grid. Options. And here what I like to do is I like to work with this as far as length and width relative to, say, 10 feet, 10 units. But I have a really big yard here, so I might do, say, 100. And grid units every 5 units, every 5 feet. It sounds fine. Subdivisions 5, I only need 1. And I'll apply very close. So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sense of what my landscape would look like. You may notice that when we're working sometimes in Maya with a camera, that sometimes the clip plane for the camera view perspective, or front, top, or side view, will kind of change. And what we want to do is, when I select our camera, we'll make a small change in our camera settings relative to our perspective view. Going to attributes here, I have those tabs available here on my far right. I'm working my classic layout, by the way. Modeling workspace, modeling menus I should say. And here's an example of this idea of the clip plane. For those of us who play a lot of video games, which I have over the decades, clip plane really involves what the camera can see at a distance. And here, this distance is not very far if I'm working at 100 feet. So I might type in, say, 1,000 feet here, adding a 0. Might go further than that here. I see 3,208. Might make that 32. As I do, I want to see more of my workspace. As you can see, a big change there. Sometimes I even work this even higher to 100,000, depending on the size of the scale that I'm working at. I do work to scale a lot for some of the content I create, especially for games. But for now, this looks good. I like this. We've got a good look here. Also, my viewports like to show edge faces. So we see this as wireframe, shaded highlights, but also edge faces. So when I click off on it, I can still see those elements here in my scene. Here's F on my keyboard there to frame it quickly when I mouse over that perspective view side by side.